I want to talk about the topics on the screen today. The two people at the top, I ran across this video and it was a girl. I think her name is YYANAJ, something like that. She apparently she has a lot of followers here on TikTok. Somebody underneath her pictures said, "Hey, your Twitter is fire." And so, and asked her, if she, had some type of Twitter and did she go under this name on Twitter. So she went on there and she saw that it was a girl that had like OnlyFans links and stuff like that and all of these like explicit videos. And so she went back to TikTok and made a video and said, "Hey, that's not me. I'm in the military. I've done this, that, and the third. I would never do OnlyFans or any type of X work." And so there's a lot of women that understand why she would want to say, "Hey, you guys, you think that I look like this woman, but it's not me." But then a lot of other people are saying, "Why is it a big deal that somebody thought that you were an ex worker or that, the videos and images that were on Twitter were of you and not somebody else?" So I was asking, and hey, how you doing, T Scorpio and Supervillain? Good morning, sisters. I wanted to know what you guys think about this. This is kind of a controversial topic because I feel like I don't have the most PC thoughts about this, politically correct thoughts about this. But number one, do you think that being mistaken for an ex worker is an insult? Do you think that or no? Number two, is X work a profession that Black women should participate in or even should want to participate in? Number three, is it wrong to speak on your feelings about X work and the issues that it can cause? And, as far as X liberation for women, is that a thing? Do you think that a woman can, be liberated or be mentally healthy by, being sexually free and having intercourse with a whole lot of people? That is my questions that I want to talk about because like I said, I just felt like it was weird that not everybody, of course, but there were people that were mad at the young woman who was mistaken for somebody else, trying to clarify that wasn't her, that she don't do OnlyFans, that she don't, you know what I'm saying? And that those links and stuff was not of her. And my thing is that I was being messy. Yes, I was. I went to Twitter and looked up the whole drama on Twitter. And, I'll just say this. The clips was disgusting to me. Disgusting. And I wouldn't want anybody to think that it was me. I'm going to keep it real. Like, if I seen somebody online doing things like that and people thought it was me, I would have to make 50 million YouTube videos to be like, that OnlyFans link is not me. I would never let y'all see none of that. None of that. None of that. None of that. The only person that will see that is my my husband. Okay? Honestly, so I don't see, I just don't see what's wrong with saying, "Hey, that ain't me. That's not my vagina that y'all." Let me stop. No, but I'm serious. I don't think there's anything wrong with you saying, "Hey, man, that's not my vagina. If you think that's mine, it's not. I would never." I don't see anything wrong with that personally. And you know what I also think is a good indicator on if something is right or not for women? Would you want your daughter to do it? Yes or no? Like, if you have a daughter, would you want your daughter to do it Would you be proud of your daughter for doing it? Is it something you want your daughter to strive for? If not, then you have your answer. That's how I feel. Would you want your mama to do it? Would you want, you know what I'm saying? I just feel like that should tell you it all. But yeah, so that's really what I want to talk about today. So I guess for me to get people in here, I have to say my thoughts on it, y'all. T and Supervillain. I'll just say, and you guys don't have to agree with me too. I just want y'all to know that y'all don't have to agree with me at all. Because this is a particular, I feel like it's a touchy topic. You know what I'm saying? But I'll just say, I personally, if y'all want my opinion, I do think that being mistaken for an ex-worker is an insult. I do. Because if I'm the type of person that would never do anything like that, and there's a girl online and y'all like she's doing all of these nasty things and all of these dudes are commenting wild out of pocket stuff and y'all think that it's me, like yeah, I'm gonna have something to say, like, hey man, that ain't me, because when I went on Twitter to do my research about this topic, like yeah, the things old girl was doing was gross. I mean, for real. And I guess I just say gross to be putting for everyone to put that on me, man. It wasn't me. It wasn't my vagina. And don't. You know, go ahead, supervillain, if you want to say something, sis. If you want to.
Good morning. Got to do housekeeping and get the family to get the likes up, y'all. Let's get her where she deserves. This is such a touchy topic because I am that feminist that believes women should be able to do what they want to do, but I'm always going to tell the truth first. Triggered. I also have a daughter. I do not believe that SMEX is women's liberation, and I will not be on air telling women to do something that I would never advise my daughter to do. So let me get that out first and foremost. I do believe women should be able to do what they want. However, I'm a separatist, so I believe women's liberation is limited access to men. So being involved in sexual work, here's the thing, and this is why it's touchy for me. As being a friend to someone who was trafficked and in that type of work, a lot of people don't know what they're watching. A lot of these women are actually not doing this willingly. People don't know it's a huge amount of the content that's going on right now are trafficked girls and women or people in general. So there's a lot that right there is what makes it very icky for me. Now for those who are willing participants, again, I'm a separatist. So for me, less access to men is always going to be the answer. Like the denial of access to a woman's body is always going to be the answer for me. I feel the more men get, the more their taste becomes degenerate. So that's my feeling on it. But I don't know if that helps a lot. I'm going to say I do believe in women doing what they want to do. I do not understand how we get on this internet, complain about men's degenerate behavior every day, and then think that giving them sexual access is liberation. Again, I'm not going to judge. I think I'm going to leave it there. Thanks.
Okay, no problem, no problem. Supervillain, I appreciate you. T is coming up. You can go ahead, T. Well, if you had something to say, T.
Hey, good morning, ladies.
Good
What's going
morning.
on? Yeah, like I agree with Supervillain. Like as far as like I had to be educated on that as well. Like a couple of years back with the coin industry, that a lot of girls have been traffic and everything. It was a sad reality that I had to actually realize for myself, because I ain't gonna hold you. I used to look at it. I even had corn. I even had like a corn star, like favorite corn stars. I even met a couple of corn stars when I was about 19, 20. My friend got us into a corn convention because she was dating some dude. Of course, he was older, and he basically got us in there for free. And we had no business being up in there, honestly speaking. But we went up in there, and I met Pinky. Um, I met a couple of those. I met a couple of those. Shit, they even tried to give me a job, because they thought we was scrippers. It was a wild experience. I ain't gonna hold you. I would never regret it. I had fun. They was actually nice people. They was decent human beings, in my opinion. They're human beings at the end of the day, and they just got into this type of line of work. Sometimes it was out of their control, and sometimes it was just for the money, the fast money and everything. To even know there was a couple of women that got just getting ex traffic, it was really sad for me to know about that. So, but moving on, I do agree with Supervillain also with the sexual liberation, having sex with multiple men. I don't necessarily agree with it, but at the same time, I do not judge these women because I am not put in a predicament that they were so desperate that they had to do that to basically pay bills, take care of their children. And it's different type of like industries that it will be considered sex work. Like, what is that dancing called with the feathers? Brulette, brulette, brulette.
Burlesque,
Yes,
burlesque.
that is considered erotic dancing, which I actually, another entertainment that I actually enjoy women doing. I mean, I appreciate a beautiful woman's body, seeing a beautiful woman's body. If I'm gonna be honest, I don't roll like that, but it is always nice to see. I look at women's body as a work of art. So yeah, I don't, I like I said, I try not to judge women with having multiple partners. The way I'm looking at it, she can always, I guess, cleanse herself. She can always detox, and then she can always start new. And like, no one knows your body count if you really want to go there. No one would never know a woman's body count. So as far as I'm concerned, if she want no one to know, she don't have to tell nobody. It's a shaming tactic. I feel like they always be using for women because, as y'all already know, when I talk about, I know you're tired of me talking about that, like talking about like how marriage is a business and how I married my husband for his money. And if you really want to look at it in a logical point of view, what I did was basically smex work. That's basically smex work right there. So I'm not trying to really sound like a hypocrite, even though they'll say, well, that's your husband, even though that's my husband. But what did I do? I sold my greatest assets so I can get the most out of a man. So I think that's something that's ingrained in every woman to do, to know that at the end of the day, at my last result, if I know I can get something, I know a dude that I'll call up, usually an older man, call in a favor, and he'll give you money and take care of your financial situation. That's just what we all know. Women know this in every different countries, even different religions, different cultures. Every woman knows about this. So I wouldn't even say is a bad black thing, is a black thing. I think that's just a woman instincts. Even though some women don't have the heart to do it because, they're looking at it as like, no, I respect myself. I would never do something like that. And that's a good thing too. I understand that, and like I said, I'm coming from a different point of view that I look at, because I look at the history of marriage. I look at that as like a wife is no more than like, that's the highest form of prostitution. If you really want to go there, like for me, in my belief, being a wife is the highest declared title of a prostitute. Like, I'm sorry to say it like that. And I know I might offend some people because, I'm not the only married woman here, but that's just my take on it, and I mean, unless there's going to be some type of change that men will not basically purchase women in any type of shape, form, or fashion, or a woman use her seductiveness to get advancement over a man. Sex work will always be in fashion, unfortunately. You can't avoid it. So that's just that's my take on that.
Okay, all right, all right, all right. All right, I appreciate you, T Scorpio. Well, I'll just say, the reason why I made the live today, well, I don't agree about the prostitution thing in marriage or whatever, but I know a lot of people have said that before. You're not the only person I've heard that from that think that way. Um, but really what I wanted to say is that I think that we got to stop shaming women for having normal reactions to stuff. I think that in this world everybody's afraid of like being politically incorrect, that or shaming somebody for something that I'm not saying they should be shamed for, but maybe so. I mean, maybe so. And this probably will be controversial right here. I'll say this because like I was saying, I made the video because I saw the girl at the bottom. I think her name is YYANAJ or something like that. I don't know. She was upset, like I said, that people thought that she was the girl that was on Twitter that has an OnlyFans that had her vagina all plastered all over Twitter. Now, I understand, you know what I'm saying, why she was upset. Like I said earlier, because I wouldn't want, if I would be flabbergasted if there was a person that looked like me or looked similar to me and people thought that was me and thought I was like uh excuse me, sorry, that they thought that I was online, showing my lady parts and doing freaky stuff for anybody that could see. Not even for the free, because I saw it and I went on Twitter. I didn't pay for nothing. It was just plastered all over Twitter. You know what I'm saying? And thank you so much, PG 1908. So I would have been upset. And I think that back in the day, I hate to sound like an old person out of control, but I think back in the day, a girl would have been embarrassed that it was out for the world, everybody to see her, vagina spread open. You know what I'm saying? So everybody that saw the inside of you, your walls, deep down in there, your taint, your clitoris. Like, I just feel like, what's the world coming to? Like, I just feel like all money ain't good money. Like, you may be able to get some money doing it, but at what cost? Because you got one body, one soul, one spirit, and I feel like you're sullying that for what? Money? I just feel like, for me personally, if it was between OnlyFans or Robin ninjas, all right, I'll just say ninjas. Y'all get what I'm saying? I'm robbing. I'm becoming a stick up kid, period. Give me your money. I'm sorry. Let me stop. This is a serious topic. But I'm just saying, like, for real, I just can't see in any scenario, you know what I'm saying? Am I getting online, spread legs? Because even if you make all the money in the world and then you decide that you're going to change later down the line, men will never let you forget it and they'll constantly disrespect you. There's a good instance to this. I don't know if y'all know the corn star Mia Khalifa. She said she regretted doing corn, and so she was trying to have like a podcast and be a respected woman moving forward. And all the things that she was posting on Twitter, all the things that she was posting online, it was nothing but filled with men just degrading her, talking about her, not letting her forget that she had done it. Even on Twitter, underneath her post, they were posting stills of the videos, you know what I'm saying, that she, previously did and all of that. And I just feel like it's certain things that once you do, even though you may want to change it, depending on how open you've been with it, you may not be able to totally change that reality and how you're perceived, you know? And yes, and I agree with PhD Kimmy. Like, making men your fan base is never going to work out. doing any type of work where men are your main customers and consumers is always a bad look. It's always wrong because men are nasty, unreliable, trifling. It's so many different men. I just feel as not every man, okay, for people to say that, but the collective of men, I feel like are disgusting, for lack of a better word. And to center them is to always be in a bad position. That's just my opinion, though. All right, you guys want to talk? Let me go to Supervillain and then I'll go to T Scorpio. You guys, go ahead.
Yes, and that's what I was saying where it becomes a bit touchy because just even in the example you gave between busted it wide open and robbing somebody, between the two, technically in theory robbing somebody is worse because there's a you're victimizing someone. You're
I would
taking
only
from
victimize men.
no, no, but just you know what I mean. Just roll
No,
with
I
me
know.
real
I'm just
quick.
messing with you. I'm just kidding.
So, and I have no problem with that, by the way.
I know. I'm just messing with you.
But in theory, that would be the worst thing because that's the illegal thing, technically. But we look at the SMEX work because let's just be for real, it is something that is based in womanhood. Like there's value in it because you can get it from a woman. If it were the other way around and men could do as much or make as much money selling themselves as they could a woman, like selling a woman, it wouldn't be so derogatory, right? Just like lying and stealing in business, that is a terrible thing, but that is expected in that type of work, and we respect it because in the end, it gets you money. Well, the same derogatory thing happens in sex work, and in the end, it gets you money, but it's looked at different. Why? Because women can profit from it more. I think it again based in misogyny. Now you can go to different parts of the world where women are walking around topless. The culture is breast is not sexualized. How come the things don't happen over there like that? Again, because it's based on misogyny. Over there, a woman don't have to have a shirt on. Her breasts aren't sexualized. She can go about her day, do her things with her children. That's the village. That's whatever they need to do. Nobody's looking at her as like she's demoralized or a smut or how can you be naked around children or anything like that. That's the culture because they do not sexualize certain things on a woman. Over here, it's different. Again, you can commit a crime, but they'll forgive you. You can even do the moral behavior like lying, stealing in business. As long as you make money, it's fine. But the SMEX act that a woman does is bad, even though it yields the same result, making a lot of money. So I'm just, to me, Trey, the line for me is access. And the access, not because we want to keep women pure and girls pure for men, like not respectability politics. It's access because men are degenerate and you shouldn't want to be around them and want to give them your body, period. So I don't know. I don't know if I'm making sense, but I'm going to yield there.
No, I understand what you're saying. I think we agree somewhat. The thing that I have an issue with is not even like how you mentioned the breasts and stuff like that. It's not even that. I just feel like engaging in certain X acts and doing certain things is not meant for everybody to see. Everybody shouldn't be able to see you like that, even if you're being paid for it. I believe that certain things that women do are sacred. And there shouldn't be a price tag that can be put on every single solitary thing that you have. I don't feel like the whole world should know what you sound like when you're coming or when you're moaning. I don't think the whole world should see what you look like inside. You know what I'm saying? I don't feel like that. I feel like that is a form of degradation, period. And it don't have nothing to do with men, in my opinion. I don't care what they think. Men think that women that have sex regularly and nobody knows about it, you know what I'm saying, are debased or something like that. So it's not about the opinion of men, in my opinion. I just feel like in general, I don't think that as a woman I feel like you should have more respect for yourself than to show your body to anybody that has a dollar. So anybody that want to see You know what I'm saying? Your vagina, all they got to do is go to the bank and pull out some cash, and here you are ready to pull your pants down. To me, that's disgusting and degrading. And I don't think that anybody should do that. I don't think that anybody should ever feel that that's the way to go. I think that you should figure out something else. That's why I was joking and mentioning, you know what I'm saying, the Robin or whatever. But I feel like we as black women, because that's who I care about specifically. I really am not here to talk about the others. It's a lot of things that I could say about why it would probably be more on brand for them to do it, but I'm not, because I don't want to get in trouble. I'll just say that I just feel like for black women, though, I feel like we've already been to a point to people have tried to dehumanize us and to degrade us and debase us and to say all these things. And I just don't believe that's a good look for black women on any way, on any level. Now, of course, anybody can do whatever they want to do, but just for me, I would never change and feel like in any way, shape, form, or fashion, is it okay for me to be able to go to Twitter and see you with a oversized, you know what I'm saying, sausage, jamming it inside yourself for the free? Like you, at this point, nobody paid you nothing because I saw it. And I didn't pay for anything. You got it all over. And that to me is a bad, 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 bad look. Because what happens if you have kids later and they say, hey, you know what I'm saying? I seen your mom's on Twitter. I da 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 da. It's a lot that goes into that I feel like it's not worth it. No matter how much bread you're getting. That's just my opinion. I feel I try not to judge people for the most part, even though I do feel like in certain instances people should be judged, but people don't say nothing. Like I remember this was years ago. This is when I started realizing that there was a serious problem. This was back when I was on Facebook. I used to have a whole bunch of like progressive friends that don't believe in judging about nothing. And they were just like extremely liberal, way more liberal than me. And I'll give y'all an example so y'all don't think that I'm actually crazy. They were having this whole thread where everybody was talking about kinks, right? And so they start talking about scat play. If anybody knows what that is, you know, if you like to play with the poo poo, boo 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 boo, with the poo poo, boo 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 boo. And I was telling them, I said, I feel like people should be shamed. I said, I feel like that's disgusting. What the is wrong with you? Do you know from a health standpoint, that's not something that you should be doing? Just from a health standpoint, that's not something that you should be doing. Just from a health standpoint, that is not something that you should be doing at all. I was like, that's disgusting. Y'all tripping. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's wild. Like, if you doing that, yes, I judge you. If I was dating a dude and we were getting to know each other first, second date, and he said that that's what he was into, he'd never see me again. Never, ever in life. So I feel like sometimes, you know, we don't judge or we won't. And it should be because we need to make sure that women know that hey, that's not a good look. But I probably went off the deep end, but hopefully y'all know what I'm saying. But once again, you guys, y'all have a right to your own opinion. Hey, super villain, I think T wanted to speak, and I probably talked too long. If you want to let T go, and then you want to respond after. Okay, go ahead, T.
Like this is how I feel. Who gives a shit about an opinion of a gender that if tomorrow, if they said it was legal to have sex with a 9-year-old, all the majority, a big majority of men that we know, men that we don't know, will be parked right outside of elementary school waiting to get a girl. That I don't care about an opinion of those of men that if you can't even leave them in a house alone with a dog because they might do something with the dog. I don't care about an opinion of a gender that actually have created the system that it is today. They the ones who did this. If how you going to create a same system, shame the women for a system that you created? Y'all don't want to see women in empowerment. They don't want to see women with degrees. They don't want to see a woman educated. They don't want to see if you know how hard it was for women doctors coming into the industry, the medical industry. They did not even want them to be doctors. They didn't want them to, even with the history of witches. Those women were midwives. And what they did? They burned them to the stake. Men do not want to see women flourish, period. Rather, she is a CEO or she is a lot lizard selling her cootie cat for $1. They do not want to see a woman flourish, period. And men are the last people that can actually you go for a morality check when they're the ones who they agree with slavery. Who created slavery? Who created racism? Who created this patriarchal system? Who's behind human trafficking? Them. So to for me, when I hear like having a male fan base is not a good idea. Let me tell you something. Me working in a police department, a career that's dominated by men was not a good idea for me neither, because those men are vicious when it comes to women officers. They do not have respect for women officers. There's always, like every other week, there is a sexual lawsuit for sexual harassment, or even straight up grape. Straight up grape. So when we have these discussions about, that's why I said I'm not going to judge. I don't judge a woman who got her vajayjay plastered on the internet. Okay, so what? Look at our president of the United States. Who's worse, Melania, his wife, that was an playboy model, mind you, or Donald Trump? But let's take a minute to pause on that. Which one out of both of these two couples, who is the most despicable character? The ex corn star, or him? We all gonna say it's Donald Trump. We all gonna say it's Donald Trump, and you don't see not one new picture of him nowhere. But he's still a despicable man, according to everyone else's opinion, right? Just because a woman don't have her vagina plastered on the internet, that don't make her a good woman, and that definitely do not make her a bad woman as far as morality goes. There's a bunch of pick-me's that's covered from head to toe that will allow your daughter to get raped by her husband, and she ain't naked. She grew up in Islam or whatever the case may be. Ain't got no problem selling your 9-year-old daughter to her 30-year-old son. Okay. So with that being said, when I hear these things, like, we want women to, of course, want to educate themselves, because I will always say I want women to flourish the best way they can. Get your degree. Make sure you are healthy mentally, physically, spiritually. Always make sure you at your top game. Look at your best look, because you do have one life to live. Like I said, I don't judge women that do stuff like that. Me personally, because like I said, when you find I never saw like a woman doing something that was much more degrading than a man, honestly, because who's the ones requesting these things? Anytime I see a woman do something nasty on the internet, it's most likely is requested by a man. And usually it's not even the bottom of the barrel men. Those are usually men in power. Those men in Congress, all of them you think they faithful to their wives? They all like 304s. They love 304s. They always in some smack scandal with a woman or a man or a child. Always. So when they tried to manipulate us into being involved in this shaming tactic when it comes to women, I go, no, I'm not participating in that. I will always look to y'all, because this is the system that y'all created. None of those only fan models wouldn't get a damn dime if it wasn't for the men putting the money into them. And like I said, me and Supervillain talk about it all the time, even on my platform. When that husband that was married to his wife, how much money he spent on OnlyFans model? Again, Supervillain, how much it was? In the hundreds of thousands?
There was one that was $500,000 in debt, which I don't even know how you got the credit for that, but that's crazy.
$500,000, $500,000 to an OnlyFans model. And we're going to sit up here and get mad at these women for doing it when you got men spending $500,000? Yes, of course, logically speaking, of course, women are going to jump on that, because they're seeing that these top men are spending top dollars. And let's keep it a buck. These men sell their ass just as much as women sell their coochie too. Because look at the men in the rap industry. There's a whole bunch of men that have been diddled by Diddy. And they don't want to admit it. They don't want to say it. So just like we sell our cootie cat, these niggas be selling it. I'm sorry, these niggas be selling their ass too.
Okay.
That's all I'll deal.
All right, let me go over here to supervillain, and then I'll go to PhD.
Thank you. And you see why I have to concede to the better woman. Trig, we got to get you in on our voice notes because T be dropping the gems, and it's, I mean, we really don't deserve her. Thank you, T, for that. And she just put it in perspective because I couldn't get the words out. That's like what I was saying earlier about the thief or the smex work. Technically, the thief is worse, right? They're stealing, they're doing illegal, but we'll look at the smex worker like she is the degenerate. There's a lot of women who aren't doing smex work that are degenerates. There are a lot of men who aren't doing smex work that are degenerates. I was even going to say, is it the act that's the problem or the intention? Because if we're talking about looking at insides and naked bodies, not in any way that you were saying, Trey, but when you go to the hospital and you get a procedure done and you're under anesthesia, did you read that paperwork? Especially if you're at a teaching hospital, you know, students can come in and see them doing a procedure where they open up your body, your insides. When you're a cadabra, right? When you sign to donate your body parts, when you're a cadabra in museums, people are seeing all of your insides, but it's not sexualized. Well, at least it's not supposed to be. It's supposed to be for quote unquote research, medical studies. But it's the intent. Again, when men sexualize an act, that's when it becomes degenerate. That's why I use that example about women in different cultures walking around topless, because in that culture, breasts aren't sexualized. It's not the actual act, us walking around topless, that's the issue. It's the fact that men sexualize everything. Again, my favorite example, you cannot leave an apple pie on a counter. They made a whole movie about it. It's called American Pie. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, when we are looking at SMEX work, it's not the actual work, it's because how it's viewed by men. However, I am going to do the caveat and say, and Trig, I just have to say it as a mother. I'm not out here telling my daughter to bust it wide open. It's okay for the public, just because men sexualize things. I can never be on air telling women or young women things I would not tell my daughter to do. You know, my solution is always separation, denial of access. And it's not about respectability, politics, or purity culture. It's because these knickknacks is degenerate. It's because they're degenerate. It's for safety, not for being pure. It's for your safety. Ayo.
Okay, all right. I'll just say quickly. I mean, I probably I agree with some of the things that you and T said, but then I disagree with some of them. I think comparing somebody doing things on OnlyFans for money is different than getting a medical procedure or being a cadaver, anything like that. I also think that like people that steal, of course, that also is looked down on. People aren't supposed to be stealing or anything like that. I just think that, in my opinion, this is just my opinion. I think that me exposing myself is worse than stealing. That's my opinion. Now, I know there's plenty of people that will not believe that and will not agree with that, but that's just my opinion. I feel like, if you wouldn't want your daughter to expose her body, then deep down inside, there's something that you feel is wrong about that. There's something that you feel is not appropriate about it, or you would say, "Hey, daughter, I go get the money out of these men." You know what I'm saying? And then, like, with like Trump and Melania, yeah, Trump is trash, but also I don't feel like you. I feel like for you to have a price on your body that you only get one of, and decisions that you can never take back, to me is something that I feel like is not something that should be done. I would never want my daughter under any circumstance to show her body like that. And like I said, it's not even, it's beyond the body. It's the actual acts that they're getting involved in. Yeah, men want to see it. Yeah, men want you to do it. Yeah, you can get paid. Men want women to do a whole lot of stuff that's not right, but that don't mean you should do it just because you're gonna get paid. You know what I'm saying? I personally think that you should have more respect for yourself as a woman. Men who are already in a process of disrespecting women and sexualizing women. You add to that when you do things like that. for money because they know that no matter what, if they got $1, they can get you to do whatever, whenever, however. So, how does that teach men the value of women? How does that teach men to say, hey, no, you can't have access to me. You can't do this when they can have whatever access that you want, regardless, as long as they got a couple dollars. And I'm not saying that all men will respect you if you're a doctor. There are some men that will respect you. There are some men that won't. But I can guarantee you that you're not getting respect if your vagina is online. There's nobody that's respecting you. It could be some women that say it's okay, but deep down inside, I don't feel like those women respect either. That's why when most of the time, I would say when I've had these conversations with women, 95% of the women, even the women that think that it's okay, I ask them, hey, would you want your daughter to do it? No. Okay, would you do it? No. So then there's something wrong there. Because if you can get money so quickly and it's so easy and it's such a liberating thing to do, then why you won't do it? Why you won't do it with your daughter? Why because there's something not right about doing it. And your body, in my opinion, is sacred. Period. Now, if it's cultural for you to walk around topless, then that's something different. But it's definitely not cultural for you to, get DP'd and bukkakied on, you know what I'm saying, for everybody to see. For you to get, you know what I'm saying, deep throated and spit on and peed on and all of these other things for a couple dollars. Like, there's nothing empowering about that. You know what I'm saying? And I can't, me personally, if you, for what I say, I respect you as a woman. If I see that, no, because it's not something that I can respect. It's the same way I don't respect men who aren't there for their kids. The same way I don't respect men who put their hands on women. The same way I don't respect women who let their kids get touched on, like T mentioned earlier. And yes, there are women that are fully clothed that are trash. I'm not saying that you can be fully clothed and be trash. You could have only slept with one man or only slept with three and be trash, and be a horrible woman and a terrible person. Absolutely. But I don't think that I think the other thing is that doesn't make you a good woman either. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like right now, that's just, in my opinion, it's the wrong message to send to like younger women. That because when you make a area of making it like it's okay, then you'll get more and more and more and more young girls to do it. And you actually encourage more men to go into a debased nature, which at the end of the day is going to even cause more women to be trafficked and pushed into it. This is just my opinion though. But let me go over here to PhD, then Princess, and then Shay. Go ahead, PhD.
In my opinion, I think that a lot of people agree with sex work because they've not been, oh, X work, because they've not been around actual ex workers. Because I had a friend who was an ex worker, and the amount of violence that she had to deal with men was disgusting. And it's like, as women, we have to deal with that anyway. But when you're in close contact with men every single day, for multiple times of the day. These men would record her without her consent. She'd had weapons pulled out on her. You think about the diseases as well. Like, she was constantly on prep, but she had scares. She had like friends who also like contracted diseases, some that they couldn't get rid of. So it's just like there's that side to X work that, you know what, yeah, even though you post pictures online, or you're a lot of times you're still doing stuff behind the scenes as well. Even if it's like in real life or online, men are leaking the people's pictures. There's like groups on Reddit where all these OnlyFans girls, their pictures are all leaked, their videos are all leaked. So it's like the violence that we face as women anyway is extrapolated in like that industry. And my thing is not a virtue signaling like, oh, women shouldn't be able to do that. I want women to be safe. And seeing it from a perspective of how this situation ruined her life. Like, she couldn't get a job because she was addicted to fast money, because it is a lot of money. But at the end of the day, like, if you lose your mind, what's the point? Like she was literally constantly having mental breakdowns because she couldn't stomach the things that she'd done, the things she'd seen, the things that she'd been around. Because a lot of these men are disgusting degenerates. She's been threatened to be emmed off before. Like just a lot, and especially as a black woman as well, the power dynamics when you go into these situations with these men, a lot of them that are wealthy, that are powerful, like it's not a safe situation. And even the grooming that comes with it, and with other women, like trying to get other women to be part of your S ring, because she wanted to recruit me as well. But she said that, oh, I don't think that mentally you could go through it or whatever. But she'd recruited another girl, and that other girl got an STD. And then, so you see how also like other women are kind of brought into like this whole trafficking ring. And I think that it's all been seen as like, oh, OnlyFans is empowering and all of that, but we're not seeing how it can be dangerous to women as well. There's a statistic in the UK: if you do X work, you're 18 times more likely to be emmed off, to be unalived. 18 times. So what part of that is liberating to women? Because we know these men are degenerates. And putting yourself in close contact with them, making sure that they're the only reason that you survive, because they're the ones that control your income, is a very dangerous place to be in. And that's not virtue signaling, because a lot of these women, they're vulnerable. For example, my friend, she was an orphan. So she just had limited options. So I think there needs to be more support for vulnerable women. Like, I don't really want to shame them, because a lot of them are being pushed to it. But we need to be honest that I don't want women to hurt themselves thinking, oh, it's just easy money. And then you end up with a disease you can't get rid of, or you end up in a field somewhere. Thank you.
Yeah, PhD. I agree with a lot of what you said. I forgot to say that too. That when people say like, well, men are around everywhere and you have a risk factor no matter what in dealing with men, which of course is true. But when you are engaged in X work, there is a increased risk of violence, unaliving, rape, and a whole lot of other things. So we have to think about that, the increased risk factors for that. Also, there have been several OnlyFans women that have had their locations exposed and they have been unalived from obsessive fans and things like that. So I think that we also don't talk about the fact that not only is it, in my opinion, not a good look, but it's also riskier for you. And of course, because somebody in the comments said, let's put the blame where it goes on men. Of course, men are to blame for all of this. Men are the ones that have this appetite for this. But also, why are you giving them what they want? Like, you know what I'm saying? Why are you giving them what they want? It would serve you better if you didn't. You know what I'm saying? I don't understand if you think that men are the problem and you say that men are so bad, but then you make content strictly for them and put yourself in spaces with the people that you're saying are problems. You know what I mean? Yeah. But let me go over here to Princess, and I'll put the timer on everybody now moving forward. That way I can make sure everybody gets a chance to speak. Go ahead, Princess.
Hi, and are we talking about like Smeck's work, like dancing, or like the P word?
I wasn't really talking about dancing at all. I was talking about like OnlyFans where girls, engage in XX.
Okay. Yeah, because I used to be a dancer at a club, and that is considered in the industry as well.
Yeah, yeah, I've been
And
around dancing here.
yeah, and I mean, I didn't really think that was a problem. Like, honestly, like, it's money, you're safe at a club, there's managers, there's things like that. I mean, I did sell content as well when I was broke. I mean, I don't disrespect the
Money.
hustle. If if I
I'm
was
sorry,
really
just one
broke.
second, Princess. Simba, don't unmute yourself again, or you're gone. Okay, go ahead, sis. Sorry about that, Princess.
No
Literally was
worries.
just
Okay, let me drop
guessing
you,
the
Simba.
calm
Goodbye.
down.
Get your
Yeah.
ugly self off my page. You look ugly and goofy, and you look like you don't brush your teeth. Please get out of here. All right, sorry about that, sis. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with it if you're being safe. And I do understand that there are risks that come with it, and I really think that women should sit down and think about it before they do it. And especially with like the OF stuff, you have to realize you might not be at that 1%, and that's fine. I really do think the online stuff isn't the best way to make money, because honestly everyone's doing it. And even the clubs, when I left, it was because it was so saturated. And it's like, I think X work should be when you're desperate, you need money, you're down and out, not a choice you make right away. And that's where I land. I mean, just do what you need to do to make money and protect yourself.
All right, all right, all right. Thank you so much, Princess. All right, so let me go down here to Shade. Go ahead, Shade. Oh, let me know if I'm saying that right. Or is it Shade? Go
Well,
ahead.
yeah. Hey, how you doing, everybody? My name is Sade, but like Sade Mayday is my little, my little handle.
Okay, okay, all right. Go ahead, Shade.
Okay. So, first of all, peace, everybody. I think that this is an important topic. Um, I started off like the last lady that came up. I was a dancer for a couple of years, and I got out that industry because I seen the shift. And a lot of X work happens in the club, especially now. Back in the day, it really not so much because people were making their money. They didn't have to jeopardize uh, their morals in order to go home with some dollars. So what another point I think that we need to pay attention to is this is something that I believe is systematically been romanticized and popularized within the entertainment industry. Our entertainers, that we're the only community that our entertainers that are put to the front are, and I don't want to say the worst of the worst, but we know there's levels to certain things. And it's like with the raunchiness, live how you want to, have X with as many guys, it is being pushed to the front. And it's almost like, where's the shame at? Where's your dignity? Where are your morals? Where's your personal code? And that is now being pushed to the back. And to be someone of a certain caliber and have morals and a code, it's almost like we're being laughed at. There's a line that says, I hate a lame bee with class. And it's like, what? So what I've noticed is everything is sexualized, and it's like prostitution and 304s are being pushed to the forefront within our entertainment industry. To now we're at the point where there's no shame in it. Yeah, have a OF and sell your pictures of yourself playing with yourself for $3.99. And what? It's just not making sense. But again, it's been romanticized and popularized to where it's almost like they've reprogrammed a lot of our women. And again, me being in that industry, I don't want to point fingers and just act like my hands are clean, because I thought that I had morals back then. And I think I honestly, I conducted myself as a lady, but I was still shaking my butt half naked on a pole. So it's like, how high were your morals? So I went through something spiritual. I went to see a shaman because I'm just going to be honest. Spirit kept telling me this life is not for you. You need to get out of here. And I'm going to keep making things happen in your life to make you get out of this. So the last thing that happened, I had to leave the club. I go see a shaman and I get some spiritual work done. And in that time that I was there, I came face to face with something. And I want to say that it was the Jezebel spirit. Still not 100% sure. That 3 years ago, that was. And since that day, I can't do anything that I was able to do to make money, shake my butt, be half naked, have customers I can call from. I can't. And I know that that had something to do with what I went and did, that spirit. So me understanding that everything has a spirit, the trees, the grass, the flowers, everything has a spirit. And it's just like, man, that Jezebel spirit is rampant running through I don't want to just say our black community, but I'm a black woman, so let's just say women. It's running rampant amongst
Yeah,
our women.
I just want to
And
say, Jeb, real quick,
I'm
Sade.
sorry.
Yeah, it's definitely because you got the white girls, doing
Yeah,
a
yeah.
thousand men a day.
Right. So I
So
don't
yeah.
want to. Right. Right. I don't want to make it a black or white thing. I'm a woman, so it's about. It's crazy. It's happening. I see it. It's like rampant running through us, and nobody has. I don't know, man. It's like, what happened to shame? What happened to morals? And to feel liberated about doing these things, it's like you're tricking yourself. This is a trick because I promise you, I know a lot of girls in the industry. I know girls who have P's. I know P's myself. I know girls who walk outside on the track. I know all types of women. And I promise you, none of them, there might be one, two, or three that say they feel liberated. But then when you get deeper into it, you find out that this stems from something that happened when they were a child. Something happened to them and they're trying to fix that part of the little girl. Everybody I know, and I don't want to just say every stripper or dancer or
Okay,
whatever is an
your,
alcoholic, but they
your time
struggle.
ran out,
Oh,
Sade.
I'm
I'll give
sorry.
you
I'm
I'll give you
sorry.
another 30 seconds. It's okay. I'll give you
Thank you
another
for
30
letting me
seconds if you
speak.
want to finish it
Oh,
up.
okay. All I was gonna say was it's people struggle with things and they use alcohol and weed and different drugs to be able to do certain things, especially in that lifestyle. So it's like, how happy are you really? Because if you gotta get drunk and high to do something, I don't know, And that's all I'm
Okay.
gonna say.
All right. Yeah, for anybody that doesn't know me here, when we have conversations about things, and it's kind of like our own opinions and things like that, which is fine. Like I welcome everybody's own opinions because we not all going to agree on everything, but I do like to always pull statistics, things that will prove kind of like the point where I'm trying to get at. And if you notice that up here it says that there's a study conducted that 68% of people who sell sex reported symptoms of depression. 55 reported symptoms of anxiety. Then down at the bottom, it mentions that ex workers experience significantly higher rates of mental health issues, including depression, anxiety, and post traumatic stress disorder. So, when we talk about, oh, well, why can't they just do it? It can't be no problem with it. Like, regardless of whether people believe this or not, and this is just my opinion. So I want to make sure that I state this is just my opinion. This is not representative of any of the other ladies on the panel. But I do believe in a higher being. I do believe in things being spiritual. And I do believe that things are more than just the surface level on what you see. And the reason why, if you talk to ex-workers, which I didn't mention this, but I guess I should have, I done did hella dancers hair. I done did hella dancers, girls who did corn hair when I was doing hair, because I ended up getting linked up with one girl and she liked the way I did it. So I started doing a whole bunch of them. And I just wanted to be clear here. Another reason why I have the strong feeling that I have about it is because I seen them and they weren't happy. It's not good. It's not a healthy environment. A lot of them do, just like Sade was saying, illegal substances to cope with the shame of what they're doing, because it's not something that you should be doing. Now, you can disagree with me if you want to, but like I said, the biggest indicator on whether it's wrong or right is if you want your kids or your mama to do it, or would you do it yourself? You know what I'm saying? But I'll just say that these people have issues. They do, because of what occurs and what goes along with it. And stats back up this fact. You can watch a million different after the industry autobiographies or whatever they're called on TikTok, on YouTube. Look it up on Amazon Prime. There's so many ones where ex-workers will talk about how damaged they were, how messed up they were after all of it was done, said and done. And then the last thing I wanted to say, and I'll let everybody else speak again, is that people talk about, well, by whose standards are we supposed to be doing this? Whose morals? Like, why are you trying to put morals on somebody? And I noticed this, that people do this often. They will say, like, oh, morals, morals, morals. Let's not talk about morals. Let's not talk about morality. But what they do is they only use it when it comes to things that they want to say that it's moral or not. Well, if that's the case, if nobody has any morals and nobody has a right to say what's right or not, then who's to say you can't touch kids? Not that you should, but I'm saying, who's to say touching kids is wrong? Who's to say robbing is wrong? Who's to say raping is wrong? Who's to say any of these things are wrong? Because who told you it was wrong? Who has the right to tell you? The only person that told you that is other human beings, right? So who's telling you? If you don't believe in God, you're not going against the Bible, you're not going against the Quran, you're not going against anything, then who has the right to tell anybody anything? Nobody has the right to tell you nothing. They don't need to tell you if you can smack somebody, if you can unalive somebody, if you can touch somebody against their will. Nothing means nothing then. You can't just say, oh, who's to say morals about dancing or showing your body or this and that, but then say that somebody's supposed to have morals about anything. You can do anything that you want then. Then there should be no blocks on anything. It's the same way when atheists say, oh, well, there's no God, there's no creator. Okay, cool. If not, then why can't I do whatever it is that I want? Why do I have to be nice? Why do I have to think about your feelings? Who told me that I have to think about your feelings and what I do if it'll affect you or if it'll hurt you? If at the end of the day, this is all we got, I should do whatever I want, whatever makes me happy. Who cares if you hurt or not? Because at the end of the day, what's going to happen if I do something to you and I get away with it? The only thing is doing it and not getting caught. You get what I'm saying? So it's like it's all a slippery slope when you talk about things like this. Because at the end of the day, anything that you follow in life, if you feel like stealing is wrong, if you feel like sleeping with your friend, man, is wrong. All of those things come from what? Some type of moral compass that you have, and you think that other people are supposed to follow it, right? So that's all I'm saying. Like it's a slippery slope when dealing with all of it. But like I said, at the end of the day, we're all welcome to our own thoughts and feelings and opinions. So that's the reason why I just wanted to use a little bit of stats, fact-based information, that if being an ex-worker was really the right thing to do, if it was really okay, if it was really a great thing to do to get money, then why do the majority of these women have issues afterward? Ask yourself that. Okay,
there's a comment.
The thing about it is that people, I just noticed what you said about the 9 to 5. People say that all the time. But once you look at it, when you look at statistics and you look at numbers, certain things, certain jobs have a higher risk and a higher occurrence of things. If you're an ex-worker, you have a higher risk of undergoing stress, trauma, rape, assault, unalivings, all of these things.
Thanks. And there was a lot of points made, and this is why conversation like this is so great. So y'all get the likes up. Let's get her to where she deserves, because this is difficult work, and we don't deserve a space if we're not going to support it. I wanted to say this trick. Oh gosh, it was so many moments, but I'll double back, just say a few because I know it's a lot of people. So when my thing is, let's go to the morality thing, right? Anyway, I think the atheism thing was brought up, and I'm in my struggle about what I currently believe, and everyone has the right to what their belief is, but when it comes to morality, I think the important thing is that you're doing something good or not doing something because it's the right thing to do, not necessarily because you feel like you'll be judged by others or that there's some place at the bottom of the world called hell and you might burn, right? We should be doing the right thing because it's the right thing to do, not because we're scared.
Hey, supervillain, I had a question for you.
Sure.
Who said what's good and who said what's bad? Who makes that decision on what's good and what's bad?
You know what? And you're absolutely right. I will not be up here and say I know everything and have the answers to everything. I know for me, inherently, I know what feels good and what feels bad to me. But what I feel may be good or bad, a lot, like my certain lifestyle, a lot of people don't agree with it, right? I don't agree with the interference of men. I think we should be close to them as least as possible. There's a lot of women who don't believe that, right? Who's to say I'm right and they're wrong? Well, if we want to bring up statistics, the more closer you are involved with men, the least safer you are. But women continue to do it every single day. I'm just saying, I'm using that like the same way. My thing is, if we're going to use a measuring stick, we got to use it across the board. And this is why conversations like this is important. Now, there are fundamental things that I feel are wrong, and some people are going to say, you know what? That's what I don't agree with. People could say murder is wrong, right? I don't necessarily agree in all cases, because if somebody do something to my child, I'm under the jail willingly for it, because they're not going to be on earth anymore. Some people feel it across the board is wrong. No matter what, it's wrong. Do you see what I'm saying? Now, but specifically with sex work, and I think somebody brought up a good point, what you're doing at sex work, because I just thought about it. Trig, I'm going to tell you right now, you may not believe it. I did some virtual cuddling during the pandemic. That's when you like do cuddles, but it's online, because at that time we had to be 6 feet apart or whatever. Somebody told me technically that's sex work, because you are doing something for the entertainment of men. Now, had I known that, I probably wouldn't have did it, got engaged into it. I just thought it was a good way to take advantage of a man. Some people think that's morally wrong. I disagree. I think men are here for the DNA and labor purposes only, but I mean, that's other people, is their opinion. But that, I think, again, Trish, I don't have the answer, so I can't even answer that for you. And I'm never gonna lie to you. People think certain things are good, bad. I think there's a fundamental good and bad, but again, people may not always agree with that. So I can't answer that truthfully without contradicting myself. So I'm gonna yield. I'm gonna let the next person go.
Okay, all right, super villain. I appreciate you. I appreciate your honesty and your perspective for sure. All right, well, let me go next to hold on, I gotta end this. Now let me go to T Scorpio. Sorry it took so long, T.
Just like I said, I'm listening and everything like that. Of course, I would never dispute that facts are facts are facts. That a lot of women that's in the industry are psychologically and emotionally damaged. That is why I said I do not participate in the shaming and the judging, because I already know these women are already down, and I don't believe in kicking a woman while she's down. So when we say stuff like I won't respect her because she do this type of work, I'm contributing to the abuse. And if I am what I would like to call myself a so-called good person, I will not contribute to the psychological abuse what the world is already putting bestowing upon this woman. At least that's me. If I consider myself to be a woman that's for women and care about women, I will not contribute to the abuse. There's a difference between contributing to the abuse and trying to help her so she can get out of it. That's a whole nother different story within itself. Helping, assisting, breathing life into the woman, letting her know, you could do something even better. Or if you are going to go this route, you don't have to be at the bottom if this is the route that you choose to go, and I can't help you, but I'm not going to contribute to abusing her, because like I said, that's a man's tactic to do that. And like I keep mentioning, when we talk about depression, and of course there's a higher chance you get an STD, but aside of that, there are officers, like I said, in my career that I chose, there's a high rate of officers unaliving themselves when the holidays are coming up because of bills and the pressure of Christmas. There is almost a lot of these jobs, like firefighters got one of the highest rate of depression, and that's why they pay the highest in insurances, because these men are dealing basically gambling with their lives practically almost every day. So that's another type of, you would say, a dangerous career choice to make that a lot of women line up to go do too. I've met plenty of women firefighters that are willing and have the bravery to run literally into a burning building to save another person's life. And I respect it 100%, 110%, even though she is putting her life at stake. That is why I do not judge a woman that's doing something that is risking her life, because at the end of the day, sex work does only affect herself versus what the damages of with the public. Because at the end of the day, if you are on top of your children and raise them correctly, there's a possibility they won't even go that route. I would never tell a woman to go into an industry where you will be abused. Absolutely not. But like I mentioned earlier, no matter what field of career that we choose as women, we are going to get abused by men. We cannot avoid it. All in all, we cannot avoid it. Even if a woman don't even have to have a career, she can still get abused by her husband. Even women that get abused in the church and one of the most sacred places in the world, supposedly, women are getting abused. Children are getting abused in the church. And they not even engaging in no type of sex work. So when we're talking about the dangers of sex work, I'm 100% agreeing. The part where I disagree is treating that woman. I wouldn't treat her like she's bottom of the barrel because I already understand psychologically she's not there. And I do not, like I said, I don't contribute to abusing a woman because at the end of the day, that was her body. That was her choice. That's not my vagina. I'm not getting my vagina turned out for $3. She is. The only person is damaged is her. So how would I look like myself as like, you know, calling myself an educated woman is going to abuse her when I know this woman's already got mental issues? That's hurtful to do. I would never contribute to that. You know, that's my personal opinion. It was some other points that was that was brought up that like I said, like as long as women are doing it safe and trying to be as safe as possible. Oh yeah, that was the word. When I said, I wrote in the comment when the woman one of the ladies said that being a lady, I want to be a lady, and I said according to whose standards? What is being a lady to you? What is being a lady? Because that, like I said, that's another male philosophy that was created, how to quote unquote act like a lady. Because if we're gonna go by what men say, none of us are acting like ladies when we fucking curse. According to men, being a lady is not cursing. Being a lady is not wearing jeans. Being a lady is not even going outside arguing with men without your husband being present. A lot of men will sit there and tell you what is the so-called standard of being a lady.
I'll give you another minute, T, if you need to finish.
Yeah, sure. That was the only point that I was saying as far as like the standard of being a lady. As far as morality goes, how I do my morality is doing study of the psychological effects. We all know grape is bad because of the psychological effect and the physical damages that it does cause on the victim, rather it's a male, female, man, or woman. They all have the same psychological effect and it's damaging to them. So that's like what Supervillain even pointed out. Some people would say murder is unacceptable, no matter even if it's self-defense. You have some people that don't even believe in the unalive penalty, even if the man raped 50 children, chopped them up and ate them. You got some people that still feel like they have human rights. And I don't believe human rights should be extended to every type of human being, depending on the atrocities that you have committed against another human being.
Oh, okay. Uh, I appreciate you and what you said, T. I just wanted to say one thing. Because I don't know if people hopefully I just want anybody that's listening, because y'all know that I be uploading these to YouTube. I want everybody to make this clear that I definitely would not treat a woman that is engaged in X work in any way like she's trash. Like, I wouldn't talk to her crazy. I wouldn't say nothing to her crazy or nothing of that nature. I would never do that. I've worked, like I said before, when I used to do hair, I used to work with a lot of ex workers and never made them feel no type of way, nor would I do that. Now, do I agree with the lifestyle? No. Do I think that they should be doing it? No. If it was one girl that I was doing that she was a just not even an ex worker, just I guess I don't know what lane you put it in. But you know, back then it was like you just was called like a prostitute or whatever. I felt bad for her. I tried to tell her like, hey, there's different ways that you can go about this than putting yourself at risk. You know what I mean? And she wasn't trying to listen to me or whatever. She just wanted to get her hair done and me to shut up. So it was what it was. But I just want to make this clear. No, I wouldn't judge any woman for doing any of these things or say anything crazy to her. But if somebody asks me my perspective, you know what I'm saying? Then yeah, I'm gonna say no, I don't think you should do it. I'm gonna say no, I don't think any woman should do it. I'm gonna say no, I would never want my daughter or anybody like that to do it, or my friends or anything like that. That it is damaging. It's damaging on many levels. Not only is it psychologically damaging, emotionally damaging, it's also physically damaging and put you at a higher risk for STDs, a higher risk to be unalived, and a whole lot of other things. And, we can try to compare it to other things. Like I think T compared it to like firefighters, but I don't think that's a good comparison because only 4% of women are firefighters. 95% of firefighters are male. So you can't even do a good enough sample size to even find out the true effects of what's going on with female firefighters. Not to say that I believe that women that are in male dominated fields, men don't play with them and try to probably, actually harass them by saying things that's inappropriate or out of pocket or even doing something. Because I believe that. I believe that anytime women are in spaces where men normally run free, they feel intimidated and get mad. And sometimes men use actual harassment as a way to make the woman feel uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, and I understand what you're saying, T, that it's a risk to their lives, but everything in life comes with risk. Everything, every job, even if you work at McDonald's dropping the fries, you know what I'm saying? Even if you do hair, everything comes with risk. But there are certain professions that come with a high risk and a high risk of not only physical violence, but emotional violence and things like that as well. Sex work is one of the most riskiest professions that you could do as a woman. But let me just keep going to Princess and then or no, I think PhD was first actually. So let me go to PhD and then yeah, PhD first, then Princess, and then I'm gonna let everybody speak again, and then I'm gonna wrap this up because I gotta work out. Go ahead, PhD.
Yeah, I completely agree with what you said. 18 times more likely to be unalived than someone doing a 9 to 5 or any other profession. Like, at the end of the day, yes, misogyny happens everywhere, but 18 times more likely. Do you know what I mean? And it's because like these women aren't being protected. And I feel like we need as a community to band together because I do see a lot of people shaming S workers. And that's not what I'm there for. I feel like they need to be protected because the industry they're in, it eats them up alive. It literally does. And I feel like with the glamorization of S work, I feel like women aren't being told the actual harsh realities, like the diseases you can't get rid of, the fact that people will constantly bring up your pictures, your videos, like your internet presence is always going to be known as an S worker. Is hard to rebrand. Like that reality of it, or even like the violence that you face and you're at a heightened risk. Not saying that women don't face the risk anywhere. You can face the risk everywhere you go to, but 18 times more likely in the UK to be unalived if you are engaging in S work. And that's from the UK government published that those statistics. So it's just like we need to be honest with each other as women. And I think this like movement kind of doesn't show the hard sides of it, the itching and burning. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't even show the sides of how other women are grooming other women to be part of like this trafficking ring. Because like the S workers I've known, they've tried to recruit me to be part of whatever they're doing. And even I remember in the Diddy case with Young Miami, she was getting her like younger cousins to come to these freak offs. So there's another aspect of how other women are using other women to be part of these rings. And if we're saying that, oh, we need to descend to men and all of that, is this not being a pick me? Like, is this not pick me behavior? Willing to do whatever with a man for a bit of money? That's the epitome of being a pick me. Do you know what I mean? You're literally trying to be the highest bidder for a man with your pum pum. So it's just like I don't know what we've reframed this as feminism or what, because it's not. It's not. It's actually dangerous for the women who are involved, and it's dangerous for the women and children around them. But that's my own opinion. And I just think the women that are in these professions, they need to be protected because a lot of them have come from violence in their like childhood, in their past lives, or they've been groomed into that situation by another woman.
Yes, PhD. I definitely agree with you. I really do. I know that sometimes these topics and things like that, it could be hard to hear. It could be like, shocking or triggering, but I definitely think it's things that we need to talk about. And I just want to say, I say all of this with love. I'm really not trying to look down on anyone at all. It's just that I see a lot of young girls just now on Twitter and stuff. Like, this is one girl. I used to see her on Instagram, and then I used to be like, wow, she's so beautiful, so pretty, like just absolutely gorgeous, like beautiful chocolate skin, perfect body, perfect hair, perfect face, everything, just beautiful. And I end up running across her on Twitter, and she had an OnlyFans, and the pictures and the videos that she was showing were very shocking to me. Not shocking, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm no prude, but it was shocking to see a girl that beautiful doing that. And the comments from men underneath there were so degrading. So degrading. And all she was doing is responding to them and saying, click my link, click my link, click my link. And that's where I agree with like PhD, not only with the stats that she gave, but also, yes, I do feel like that's a form of being a pick me, because you're willing to get down and dirty on your hands and knees and do things that you probably don't feel totally comfortable with for a man's gaze and for a little bit of money. And at the end of the day, if we're supposed to be decentering men and not caring about men and not doing things that men like and all of these other things and cutting off access, then why would you do these things? You're sending a man mixed messages. You know what I'm saying? So like I said, I really just want anybody to know if y'all are offended by what I'm saying, not the people on the panel, because I know the ladies up here, but if you hear me and you're offended, I don't mean nothing by it. Truthfully, I only literally mean it because I really want the best for young Black girls coming up. I don't want them to do things that later on, when they turn 40, that they feel horrible about. Because there's a lot of women that used to do it that feel terrible now. And once you do something, there's nothing you can do. And with this day and age, with the digital footprint, once it's out there, it's out there. Whether you don't want to do it no more or not, whether you think of later, you be like, oh no, I shouldn't have did that, or whatever. It's a done deal. You can't stop it. So that's all I was saying. But I'm gonna let Supervillain speak, and then T, and then I'm gonna go ahead and end the live, you guys. Go ahead, Supervillain sis.
Thank you, Trigger. And can I just say again, so thankful for this space. And of course, you already know how I feel. I don't think you should ever have to caveat or apologize or disclaimer your feelings. We are all different women from different walks of life, and this is what makes a conversation great. We're not a monolith, and if anything makes you feel uncomfortable, don't be angry about it. Assess it, because it's either going to do one or two things: validate how you feel or give you a different perspective in what you're saying. And that's what conversation is about. I think this particular conversation, Trey, is something that needs to be an ongoing topic. Of course, I don't believe in giving Black women labor, but however you can fit it in your schedule, because conversations like this is what I'm so grateful for, why I come here. Because you know me, it's all men, and I don't give a not that I don't give a damn about what men do, but I'm more focused on the conversation about women's behavior, because I think women navigating around men's degeneracy is also part of women's liberation. So these are the conversations I love to have. Not why do men this, why do men that. Let's talk about the behavior of what's going on with Smith's work and women in that. This is the kind of conversation that I love. Again, it's going to be uncomfortable because the hard things we're talking about are supposed to be uncomfortable. I appreciate everyone's point of view. And if you only remember one thing I say today, it's going to be that, Black woman, I love you. You are loved. And if you are feeling it, it is me throwing hearts your way. Thank you so much, Trey, for this conversation. Y'all have a great day.
Oh, no problem. All right. Thank you so much, Supervillain. I appreciate you, and I always love to hear from you for sure. And I always appreciate your perspective. Even if we, have like a little bit of disagrees on it, whatever, I still always appreciate hearing your perspective, because it's always good to get different perspectives. That way, we not in an echo chamber or whatever. Let me go down here to Miss T. Go ahead, T.
Yeah, I'm gotta sign off too. Yeah, like I said, it's basically the same thing. Like I'm practically just saying that I just don't I would never just hurt a woman while she's down, because I do understand psychologically, according to research, that women that fall into that industry was either groomed, or there's something that happened to her in her past. Do I definitely agree that, these men are just, are a certain type of way, and it's best that you have like the least amount of proximity to them? Absolutely. But unfortunately, we're living in a world, in this male dominated society, that you cannot avoid them any type of way. And men just do not feel that, like I said earlier, they don't feel like you should flourish in any kind of way. Rather you a doctor or you a lot lizard selling your cootie cat for $3, they would treat you the same. Because a man will sit up there and will believe you did not get to where you at getting your 3 master's degrees because you're smart. They'll say, oh, you must have sold your punani to get to it this level right now. You have men that no matter what you do in this society, they will never respect you. And I don't move in a way that I care about a man quote unquote respecting me, because y'all the same type of people that will have smacks with a 9-year-old. We can't even collectively all agree to leave a man in a room alone with a child. So do I care about their opinions? Absolutely not. They're the blueprint of degenerate behavior, period. you know so with that being said, any woman that is in that industry that flourish, I'm proud of you. As long as they're just, to me, as long as they're doing it safe, because I cannot dictate another woman's destiny, even though if there's a way that I can help her and not to go by this route, I definitely would. But if that's the only way that she feel like she's going to pay the bills, hey, whatever. I mean, just please be safe, as much as you can. That's the only thing I could just hope for those women, because I cannot control what they do. And, and like I said, well, even like I said, being a married woman myself, the reason why I don't judge them, because if I really want to go there, about being a wife, a woman that's not paying bills, and I'm having sex with my husband, he's giving me money that almost sound like prostitution, so I'm not even going to judge them. And psychologists and even other sociologists actually agree with that, saying that in this society, being a wife is almost no different from being a prostitute, unless the woman is single and she is financially contributing. And even if she is financially contributing, when if you are engaging in any type of sexual relationship with a man, it is perceived that you are basically his hoe. Because even if you look at the definition of the word queen, is the king's prostitute. If you look at a wife, that's the husband's property. We're not, that's why I don't engage in a shaming tactic, is because as long as in this society we are with men, we are going to be those labels no matter what, no matter what. So, yeah, that's just my take on that. Thanks for having me, Trick. I'm gonna drop down.
Okay, all right, all right, all right, all right. I appreciate you. Like I said before, when T said that, I want to say, we all have our own thoughts and opinions, and I feel like I would be, remiss if I didn't say that. Yes, I am married as well. I don't share that thought about the prostitution and prostitute and all that stuff. I'm married to my husband because for love, and that we're soulmates, and I feel like I would be, minimizing our union to say, you know what I'm saying, that I'm a prostitute. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not. We're partners, and we're soulmates, and whatever people want to call it, soulmates, twin flames, lovers, that our love will transcend even if we leave this earth. I don't know, but definitely I can't get with the prostitution. But let me go down here to PhD Kimmy, and I'll let you close it out, and I'll go ahead and end it.
Yeah, thank you for having me, a girl. Because someone said in the comments, these men ain't worth it, I promise. This opened my eyes. The amount of disgusting requests I've had from men, like, oh, can you shit on my in my mouth? Can you shit on my private areas? Like all this scat play as well. When you mention scat play and playing with poo and pee and all this degenerate, disgusting behavior, and I'm not even in the industry, so I don't even know what kind of requests that women in the S work industry get from these degenerates. I just feel sorry for them, and I hope that they find a way to escape, because now I'm abstinent. I don't want to deal with men. A lot of them are disgusting. Like, when you find your soulmate, keep them, because a lot of men have p fantasies that they like to play out in their romantic relationships, but especially in a space where they feel like they've paid for you. And I just feel like that for women, it's not safe. And I think that my friend who was in the S industry said that she just knew so much disgusting information about how men feel about women and the kind of fantasies that they have, even about children, about animals. Like, it's genuine. And this is not, oh, this is a weird man across the street. No, it's a lot of them that literally fantasize about animals. So yeah, any occupation that is centered around gaining the approval, attention, to being desirable to that demographic, good luck. Thank you.
Oh, okay, no problem, PhD. I appreciate you coming up. I definitely agree. This made me think about do y'all remember that viral video, the Dubai porta potty uh video? And that man just like, the doing the creamy poo, the doing the creamy poo all on this lady head and face and stuff like that. It went viral. And I remember, they would have all of these like Illuminati videos and stuff. They would have all of these like Illuminati videos and stuff that would be on YouTube, and expose videos where they would talk about how girls would go to Dubai, and get like 20 and 30K so that men could do that to them. And I think that it's just like, once you are willing to do something for some money that you don't feel comfortable with, where do you draw the line? You know, it's it's no, they're once again, that's how your morals get so eroded that you will do any and everything. You know what I'm saying? I remember I had watched this documentary. I'm weird because like things that I talk about, like I've already done research on it. I remember I was watching this like little, I don't know, I guess you call it like autobiography, study, whatever, on like corn stars. And so it was this one girl, it was this white tea girl, and they were showing like her like beginning of when she started being a corn star. And like it was certain things she was telling them that she wouldn't do. She was like, oh no, I won't do that. I won't do that. That goes against my morals. That's nasty. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. And then they showed, as she progressed, the years and years that she was in the industry, that at each thing that she said that she wouldn't do, she started doing, because people started offering her more and more and more and more money. And at the end of it, she ended up stopping the X work completely because her mind was going. Like, she was losing her mind because of all the things that she had done. So I just want women to know that if you put a price tag on it, there's no limits to what you can be coerced to do, because it's always somebody that's got a big bank. You know what I'm saying? So where do you draw the line at? You know what I'm saying? But anyway, like I said, that this was probably a controversial topic, but once again, I just want y'all to know that I respect everybody that was up here. I truly respect Supervillain. I truly respect T. I appreciate PhD Kimmy that came up here, and dag, it was somebody else. I think it was Sade and Princess. I appreciate all the ladies that came up here and gave their perspectives, whether I agreed or not. I respect all of y'all's opinions and thought processes. I think all of you guys are intelligent, beautiful Black women. And hopefully, nothing I said was offensive to anybody, because that wasn't my intent. But anyway, I just want to say that I love y'all, and I'll see y'all later. And hope that y'all have a great Tuesday. All right, see y'all later.